Ecco the Dolphin, Defender of the Future was developed by Appaloosa Interactive and released for the Dreamcast and PlayStation 2 in the year 2000. Although the name had changed, it was the same development studio that had worked on the original Ecco the Dolphin game on the Sega Genesis. But sadly, at least in the eyes of many fans of the franchise, none of the original staff came back to work on this fourth installment. Defender of the Future is considered by many a reboot of the franchise, which is why I felt like this was a good place to dive in despite not knowing much else about the entire series. The game is played from a third-person, or is that Dolphin, perspective. You have some control over the camera movements, and all in all, have a huge range of motion and a freedom of movement as you swim through vast oceans. There are invisible walls to keep the player contained to certain areas, but you have several methods of looking around the map and even displaying a map by pressing and holding your sonar button, which is normally used to talk to other characters or trigger events. But while you're at it, don't forget that dolphins are mammals and you have to come up for air every so often, and health along with other power-ups can be gained by eating the various fish you come across. Although you're tempted to call this an action game because you explore and rapidly trigger various events and can do battle with some of your power-ups and abilities, you're more likely to consider this a puzzle game as you figure out what you need to do to move your way to the next area in the game. If a waterfall is pushing you away from it, you need to block the water so that you can proceed, find ways to change the tides, or even find a certain number of crystals to trigger an event to move forward. Unfortunately, the game can also sometimes be a little vague, and there aren't exactly markers on the map or a heads-up display to help you know where to go. The game does try to drop hints for you so that you can figure out where to go, but it would have been helpful to have a little more detail along the way. The Dreamcast hardware really goes a long way in making this beautiful game look even better than I thought it could. While the maps aren't necessarily gigantic, they are large and flow together very well, and they have creative methods of linking together large sections, but in areas small enough that you can see them fairly clearly. The draw distance is a limitation, but it fits well within the setting of the game. Sure, sometimes the water's a vibrant blue, and you might think you should be able to see further, but other times it's dark and murky, and the limited visibility makes sense. Textures are lovely, and water and lighting effects are a nice touch. There's even a throwback level in the game that is clearly intended to be reminiscent of the Mega Drive or Genesis version of the game. There is a reasonable sound variety in the game, though some of the sounds do play over and over, but they're still mostly calming and gentle ocean sounds. Even when you're expecting something different or wildly foreign, it seems right at home in this version of Ecco. The music is excellent, but even flipping through the music test in the options menu, there's a lot of dark and brooding music in this game. Without really knowing anything about it going into it, this actually told me a lot. The game really does feel relaxed as you play through most of it, but there are definitely going to be moments of unsettling minor notes that come up. Something sinister and odd is undoubtedly going to happen in this game, which is already a lot more than I was expecting from an Ecco the Dolphin game. And there's the truth of it. I basically went into this game blind. I'd only experienced a little bit of the original Ecco the Dolphin, and by that I mean I remember a neighbor renting it and watching the dolphin swim around and jump out of the water and thought it was kind of cool. Even if you look at the back of this Dreamcast game, you have no idea what's in store for you once you get started. Here's a fun today I learned for you. Did you know that these games had f***ing aliens in them? Yeah, I had no idea. All these years, I thought the Ecco the Dolphin games were these cute little games about, a freaking dolphin. And maybe some family-friendly hippie crap about keeping the oceans clean. I had no idea that the lore of Ecco the Dolphin was as crazy as it was. And in case I'm not being clear enough, I'm not just talking about some Easter egg hidden in the game. No, it's the main plot of the game. Look, here's the instruction booklet. Imagine being a little kid riding home in the backseat of your parents' car, reading this for the first time before you got home. At the dawn of the 30th century, after 500 years of unity and fellowship, Dolphin and man set out from the Earth to explore the great unknowns of space. But where man and Dolphin founded a civilization of peace, others based theirs on strength, conquest, and domination. And even as man and Dolphin went out from the Earth, a sinister foe cast envious eyes upon it. For the Earth was a prize beyond measure, a pristine world to be cherished or exploited. But the Earth was not defenseless. The mighty Guardians, the greatest creation of dolphin kind, shielded it with its power. Undeterred, the foe persisted. Probing for a moment of weakness they were certain must come. It was in this time that a dolphin named Ecco arrived to the Isle of the Guardians, seeking to learn from the scholars of peace, but destined to be the only hope and champion of the Earth.
What? What even is this game?
I mean, even the name of the game, Ecco the Dolphin Defender of the Future, it sort of gives it away. But I've been oblivious for all these years. I just assumed it was about protecting the environment in order to defend the future. I had no clue it was this warped. Even if you skip the instruction booklet altogether, let's say you rented the game and popped the disc in, this cutscene is what greets you.
For 500 years, dolphins and humans had lived together in unity, harmony, and fellowship. Together, they set out to explore the great unknown. Peace and friendship were offered to all who would welcome it. But there were forces for whom aggression was the highest calling. Creatures known only as the foe regarded the Earth with envious eyes. For humans and dolphins were their hated enemy. From time beyond memory, the foe had gone undefeated. They devoured, dominated, and annihilated all in their path. But humans and dolphins brought their age of conquest to an end. Driven to the brink of defeat, the foe plotted vengeance on Earth. But the few caretaker dolphins who remained behind were not defenseless. Protected by their greatest creation, the Guardian shielded them with its immense power. Undeterred, the foe persisted, seeking a moment of weakness. And in this time of crisis, lived a young dolphin named Ecco. He was destined to become the only hope for humans and dolphins. Ecco, defender of Earth's future.
Still not crazy enough? Immediately after you finish a couple of tutorial tasks, you're greeted by a talking gemstone. This game just gets crazier and crazier. The game is filled with fun gameplay, challenging puzzle solving, beautiful graphics, calming music, and a story that gets more and more detailed the farther you get. Look, I'm not saying you have to go out and play Ecco the Dolphin Defender of the Future, but you have to go out and play Ecco the Dolphin Defender of the Future. I don't care if it sounds like there's an echo in here, your future depends on you defending our story so far. Hey everybody, thanks for watching episode number 84 of Our Story So Far TV. Wow, what a wild ride this was. I went in knowing nothing about the Ecco franchise, and now I have a whole new appreciation for all of them. I want to add every single game to my collection. This is amazing. How is this like the best kept secret in gaming? Tell me in the comments if you knew any of this stuff about the game before, and add to the comments if you have an excuse as to why you weren't telling people like me. How did I not know all this sci-fi crap was part of Ecco the Dolphin? This is amazing! Anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed the concept of the show, there are plenty of more episodes where that came from. Feel free to scroll through them here on YouTube, or just go to ourstorysofar.tv. I'll have a brand new episode for you next Friday, so come on back and see what it is. Until next time, take care of yourself.